The big fight of the weekend involved UFC fighter Holly Holm and, of course, Ronda Rousey, who lost her 12-fight winning streak. Now, Rousey, who was briefly unconscious after receiving a kick to the head from Holm approximately 59 seconds into the second round, was actually transported to a hospital following the fight. According to UFC President Dana White, Rousey's lip was split in half and had to be sewn back together. Now, since then, Rousey has been on social media to let her fans know that she's okay, and she, of course, thanked them for her support. But look, I'm not going to do analysis on a UFC fight because I'm not an expert on UFC. The only thing I know is that I watched the fight, and regardless of how horrendously violent it was, I couldn't get my eyes off the screen.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
I sometimes say, hey, you know, it's too violent. It's not right for me. And if it's on a TV somewhere, keeping it real.
You just can't stop watching.
Like you keep looking to see who's going to kick the other guy's ass. But look, that's part of why it's successful and part of the reason why it's not such a great idea, right? Do we want to give into those urges? We're like, yeah, kill him, kill her, yeah, get her, kick her in the head. Ooh, she's unconscious. It's human. It's human. We all do it, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know that we should be doing it. But that's us being libs, okay?
It's just really interesting how, like, we have like these weird reactions to things, right? So when it comes to sex, like all these states like don't want comprehensive sex ed, don't teach kids anything about sex, but at the same time, everywhere you go, it's like smeared in your face, like here's some sex, take it, you love it. Right? Same thing with violence. Like, sometimes you'll hear people who are like, oh, you know, these video games, they're too violent. We need to do something. Look at these mass shootings. Maybe all of this violent content being thrown at all these people is having a negative or adverse effect. But at the same time, like, we seem to give violent things like this a pass. Look, I'm not saying you should get rid of these fights. I have no interest in regulating it, maybe regulating it because of like concussions and things like that, but that's a whole nother story. They're adults who have consented to doing this. They love it. They want to do it, so do it, right?
And in this case, it's like nearly perfect because it's violence, but it's two women.
Yeah, and two attractive women.
Right, and they're like on top of each other and wrestling around. It's called America.
Right. So I don't really know what kind of point I want to make about this other than it was so horrific to watch. And I feel bad about the fact that I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Look, the part that really shocked me, I don't watch a lot of UFC fights. The part that really shocked me was when Rousey was already on the ground and Holm was like punching her in the head like twice. She got 2 punches in before is it called a ref? I don't know. Stopped the situation. But I even got into it because I noticed that Rousey was like chasing her around the octagon. And I was like, stop chasing her. Let her come after you. You're losing your energy. I was getting so into it. I don't even know why I was like cheering for her. I really had no interest in cheering for anyone, but she was getting hurt really badly.
Well, we're giving you the upsides and the downsides here. We asked you guys on the TYT app, too, are we too obsessed with the physical violence? So far, hundreds of votes in already, 63% saying, yes, we are too obsessed with the violence in this case.
So we're self-aware. We're self-aware.
Yeah, that's right. And now, of course, on the internet, it was not as subtle. This was greatly celebrated.
Yes, it was. I have some examples for you. Now, first of all, before we get to the examples of people like talking about this, Ronda Rousey kind of predicted what was going to happen when she was talking to Jimmy Fallon. So when talking about her predictions for the fight, she said Holm would probably keep far away from me and keep me frustrated to a point where I'll make a mistake and she'll try to kick me in the head. But it's not going to go like that.
Oops. That's exactly how it happened. Right? So she knew it, but she couldn't prevent it.
Right. But why were you chasing her around the octagon?
No, to be fair, what little I know about this, that's her style. She goes in, she's like Mike Tyson from boxing back in the day. She goes after the other person and overwhelms them right in the beginning. That's usually how she fights. Just in this case, Holm is so long that she was able to keep her away. I mean, I wish I'd bet on it because I thought, like, you've won a limited number of fights. It's not like you're invincible. It was 14-1. In favor of Rousey. I would have loved to bet the underdog, right? Because if Holm wins, she's a celebrity forever. Gosh, she's got to be so motivated. And Rousey was talking so much smack.
She was. Can I give you an example of that?
Yes.
So I felt bad for her, and honestly I feel bad because now all of these like terrible memes are out there of her getting her face bashed in, and they're making fun of her. Lady Gaga was one of the people that made fun of her. We'll get to her tweet in a second. But here's one example of the shit talking that Ronda Rousey is guilty of prior to the fight. She said, fake ass, cheap shotting. Fake ass, cheap shotting, fake respect, fake humility, bitch. Preacher's daughter, my ass. I see through your fake sweet act now. You're getting your ass kicked tomorrow, and I'm really going to enjoy the beating I give you. Hashtag and still. So I don't know if that's like something that they're encouraged to do because it like gets people hyped up for the fight. Like, oh, look at that shit talking. It's like, right? Or if it's like genuine and she really means to shit talk. But I know that she didn't like touch gloves or something prior to the fight, and people are like pissed about that.
Okay, so look, there's a lot of hype before the fights. It happens in boxing, it happens in UFC, obviously, right? Mixed martial arts. Muhammad Ali was a king of this, right? Yeah. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Okay, and I mean that's the mildest thing he ever said. I'm pretty, you're ugly. Okay, and on it would go. And then what he would do to the guys, etc., and get inside their heads, right? Yeah. So we're used to this. So don't blame Rousey for it. I mean, guys have been doing this and fighting forever. It's the oldest thing there is in fighting. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your ass. And besides which, when you're about to get in a fight, right? You want to pump yourself up. I'm gonna kick her ass. I'm gonna kick her ass. She keeps saying to herself. So that I don't blame her for that at all. When the fight began, that you were supposed to touch gloves, and she didn't, which is unsportsmanlike. I get it. She's in the zone. I would have touched gloves.
Isn't it kind of funny how it's like, it's unsportsmanlike behavior to not touch gloves, but prior to the game, or to the fight, sorry, prior to the fight, it's all fair game. Say whatever you want. You can call her a fake ass, cheap, shotting, fake respect, fake humility bitch.
That's cool.
That's okay. But if you don't touch her glove, you're a bad person.
Right, and afterwards, you can kick her in the head and knock her unconscious, and that's cool, but you better touch gloves.
Okay, so Lady Gaga was pissed about Ronda Rousey not touching gloves, so she did the following. The singer-turned-actress posted a photo of Holm knocking out Rousey on Instagram on Saturday, captioning it, "That's what you get for not touching gloves."
I love that this is like the biggest issue in America now, touching gloves. Are you going to touch gloves or are you not going to touch the gloves? Okay, now let's go to the memes, which were both hilarious and horrifying.
Oh, they're bad.
Come on, it's funny, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, she's like, oh, rubbing her face, and oh, yeah, stick that on, right? Poor Simba. Is that Simba, right?
He's in my God, yes, it is Simba.
Bedtime stories with Holly Holm. Oh, no. So wrong.
Oh, these pictures.
Yeah. But then look, but this is what Anna's original point was. We're kind of glorifying the violence, right?
Yeah,
we're all celebrating it with these memes. Nighty-night, right? So now again, if you're a Rousey though, that moment when you realize you talked too much shit. Oh yeah. So now if you're Ronda Rousey, you can't complain. Because you stepped into the ring, this is what you do, this is what you bragged about, you did talk this shit, and you said she wasn't going to kick you in the head, and she kicked you in the head.
Yeah.
And that's life, okay? So she signed up for that. But for the rest of us, I guess what we're saying is, let's be okay with having mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to be like, yes, she got knocked unconscious, right? At the same time, it's okay to be like, oh, wow, ooh, that was hard to not watch, right?
Yeah.
Both things are okay. Let's make peace with that. And touch gloves.